Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So I asked ChatGPT a prompt and I'm sharing my screen here about kind of 10 questions to discuss about financial freedom. And that would be interesting for me to answer these 10 questions just to kind of give you my perspective about financial freedom. So, question number one, what does financial freedom actually mean? And how do you know when you've reached it? So, financial freedom, at least for me initially, when I first kind of learned about it in 2000 and I'd say 18, it was actually very vague. I kind of just arbitrarily threw a goal of I want $20,000 a month in passive income. And I don't know why I chose $20,000, if I'm being honest. I didn't calculate my living expenses. I didn't calculate what my net worth needed to be. I just thought, hey, $20,000 a month seems like a lot of money. It doesn't seem like I can spend all that money. And clearly back then, I was living very frugally as I do today and was just focused on building wealth. So for me, it was very vague and I just kind of chased that. In retrospect, I probably should have done more calculations, more numbers, but it at least got me to take action and it got me to, kind of just pursue building wealth. And from there, it kind of naturally just led me to financial freedom. So obviously, um, like for me now, financial freedom, I'd probably say if I were to put a number to it, it's probably around ten to $15,000. I think low end, it's probably like $10,000. And keep in mind, I live in Southern California, and I want the caveat of I want $10,000 a month, assuming I have a paid off house. So basically, your average rent or mortgage in California, it's probably $5,000 to $6,000. So having 10,000 bucks a month low end is assuming I have a paid off house. And I would say very, very comfortably would be like $15,000. Now that I kind of did it, and I had a video breaking down the expenses of, how much does it cost for a family of four here? They came out to be about 100 to 150K. So I just kind of took the higher end, which is 150K. Financial freedom to me is basically having enough money to do what you want, when you want, of who you want. So to me, it's true freedom that you're not tied to a job, that you don't have to be at a job where you hate it. It doesn't mean that you really can do life on your own terms. Like for me, I clearly have achieved financial freedom. If you look at my last few videos and based on my numbers goals, but then I'm just kind of choosing to work because it still adds value to me and I'm still learning from it. And, obviously it's nice to have more money so that I could buy a good real estate deal or continue to invest as aggressively as I do. And it just kind of like really, really gives me a different perspective. Like I'm not working because I have to work. I'm working because I want to work and I'm choosing to work. And if my job situation becomes too stressful or I have different priorities, like kids in the horizon, I can choose to like not work. I can choose to go part-time, make less money because I have financial freedom. So I can get maybe a remote job or a hybrid job that pays less but gives me more lifestyle flexibility, or I just can, leave my job and take a sabbatical. So that's what true freedom is just being able to do what you want when you want on your own terms. So like, I always kind of phrased it as, and it's kind of vague too. Like if I just saw cheap flight tickets to Japan today to be able to like just fly out like in a week or two, like having that flexibility and having that freedom to do that and not have to run it by really anybody besides my wife and potentially my future kids. To me, that's what really financial freedom is just kind of like lifestyle freedom to do what I want. And I'm willing to live frugally. I'm willing to not be the baller lifestyle. I'm willing to give up nice things. They don't bring much happiness anyways. So that's what really what financial freedom is. It's just the flexibility to do what you want when you want on your own terms. And, if let's just say someone is financially free, their job situation doesn't like really fit them anymore, they just can like step away from that job or take a job that pays less. So like for Christine, my wife, she wants to go part-time. So obviously like she just can go part-time when we have our first kid if she wants to, or if she wants to work, great. We can make either option work, but it's fully her choice. And if she wants to, not work at all, then I would have to sell one of my properties to pay off this house. And she can do that too. So like she literally has all three options. And then for me, when I have kid number two, like I have the option too, where like I don't have to work either. So it's really just living life on your terms. I would say is financial freedom. Like wake up when you want. Like I think I'm still gonna work in a capacity. To be honest, I'm just wired that way. Like today's Saturday, I woke up at 7 a.m. and just couldn't go back to sleep. So I was like, hey, let me do some like kind of house chores around the house and started recording a bunch of content today because Christine's at work. So there's ways to really maximize, use money as a tool to maximize your time. So like another thing of financial freedom too is like I hate clean the house. Like, I mean, I don't dislike it, but it's not something I would prefer to do. So like I used to get a lot of arguments with Christine about, not vacuuming enough. So I literally have a Roomba sitting, not too far away from me, and it vacuums the house automatically 3 times a week, which is as good as me vacuuming once a week. Deep clean the shower like once a month. We do laundry once a week, but honestly, we can hire a maid to come every 2 weeks, and it's probably going to cost maybe $200 a session. That's $400 a month, and you basically have a really deep cleaned house because when a maid cleans a house, it sparkles, smells like lemons. So that's really and it's not even that expensive. Like 400, $500 a month to like always have a clean house. Like I think it's a great return on investment in terms of like your time relative to the money, and it just keeps you happy. And I feel like it's going to be much more needed when we have kids, obviously. Like so, we'd always have a clean house, and you just pay a maid to come here every like 2 weeks to clean the house. So that's a great ROI. Another one is like kind of like meal prep. So like if you buy food and have it delivered to your house, it's another great way. Like luckily we're fortunate where we live next to Christine's parents where they love to cook. So they always give us a little food. So it makes our life a little easier. We do enjoy cooking as well, but we might hit a point where we don't want to cook every day. So either eat out or you just have meal prep where it just comes over to you. Another great ROI is what is it? Laundry service. Like honestly, I don't think laundry takes that much effort. Like you just throw the laundry in the machine, press a button. What takes the most effort is just folding it. So like, if we have a maid and we time it correctly, like I just could like, if the maid's coming in at 10, I can literally run the washer and dryer at like 8, and by 10 o'clock it'll be finished. And then I just can have the maid just like fold it, right? If that's what we want to do. But it's not like too terrible to fold laundry, but I get it. Like if you have kids and a family of 4, you might be doing laundry every single day. So, but you can pay for services too, where like they just go out and pick up your laundry, and will wash it and fold it and deliver it back to you, right? Or you could have the maid when they come every 2 weeks, do it for you. So I'm just saying there's a lot of ways to like get what you want and automate it and free up your time. Like the Roomba has been the best investment ever. I think I spent like $300 on a used Roomba from Amazon, and it vacuums the house 3 times a week, and the floor is always clean in the kitchen area, and like we don't have to like think about it. Like but at my last apartment before I had a Roomba, Christine used to always be on my case to vacuum because I was lazier compared to her. So we're right long here in question number 1, but part 2 is how do you know when you've reached it? So for me, it's just really calculating your number. So like I said, my number is about $10,000 a month low end to probably live my current lifestyle, assuming I have a paid off mortgage. So this is really hinging on the fact that a house is paid off. And once the house is paid off, that's your biggest expense, right? Like literally $5,000 a month is my biggest expense, and I wipe that off. And I still have $10,000 to spend on the kids, to spend on myself, to spend on vacations, to spend eating out, to spend on activities. So it's a really um, big alleviation to not have a mortgage. Like for me, especially living in California, that's a huge expense. Like if I literally moved into my house in Huntsville, Alabama, I think the total cost for property tax, insurance, HOA, everything is like $1,100 a month. Like that's nothing, right? Compared to California, where you're paying like $5,000-$6,000 at least just for the mortgage, and if you include property tax, insurance, you're talking like $7,000-$8,000, right? And that's low end, and a lot of people like getting fancy, like getting bougie, and they get bigger houses than they can afford. So to me, just calculate how much you need per month, realistically, and just know that if you have a paid off house or very low rent, then it's easier to achieve financial freedom. And obviously, the more humble and frugal you can live, obviously you can achieve financial freedom even faster. But to me, I don't want to compromise my lifestyle, so I want to be able to sustain my current lifestyle, which isn't really bougie in my perspective. Like for me, we really optimize money towards like travel and experiences. And in terms of material things, like we really wait for sales. Like it's funny, like JCPenney's has this like pink tagged sale, and I think it's like every like 6 months. And when it comes out, like we see it, and then like we literally go to like a local JCPenney, and then like we just like kind of like deal hunt, and it's like crazy. Like, you can find like clothes, shirts, stuff for like $3 5, and like you can buy like 15, spend $15 and get 5 items. And you're just like, wow, like you don't actually need as much money as you think in terms of like clothes. But yeah, you have to be open to like, non-brand name clothing, as long as it fits you well and you like it and you really like it, buy it, right? But why I set that example is like, if you're a place you like to shop at, if you just wait for like sales and clearance end of season sales, you can find a lot of good stuff, right? And clothes, a lot of times, like I'll be honest, like I have so much clothes, and I haven't worn it all, so like I'm always constantly trying to like just toss clothes that doesn't look good anymore, or like too beat up, because I'm like I probably have like 3 4 other pieces of clothing that like is very similar to that. So I keep on telling like Christine, like, dude, just throw it away. Like you have a lot of other clothes that you're not wearing because of this. So, I kind of wear a lot more clothes than her because I go to work and don't wear scrubs. I have to dress up a little bit, and then I go to the gym a lot and pretty active. So, we go through clothes quite a bit and all that. So it's really it's not that much of a compromise. Like for me, I'd rather have like financial freedom, have a lower like fire number, and live more humbly, and then just prioritize all my money towards like experiences and travel. That's really what I like. So that's when if you achieved it. So like for me, in my last few videos I've had, like I basically ran the breakdown, and basically I would need about 150K per year of a paid off house to live in a high cost of living area like Los Angeles. And when I broke down my financials, um, there is a way for me to basically withdraw the 4% rule from my $2 million portfolio, which is about $8,000 a year. And then my real estate cash flows about 10K a month on average. That's 100K a year. And let's just say that I live off 80K of that real estate income, because real estate income is more variable. But let's just say 80K and I have 80K, that's 160K. So there you go, right there. I hit my financial freedom number, and at that point you're like, huh, like you don't have to work anymore, and it's kind of like relieving in a sense. So next, I might have to break this video into multiple parts before it gets too long, so I'll do the second question here to keep the video at 20 minutes and make this a little series here. But what's the biggest myth people believe about achieving financial freedom? So a common misconception is needing to be debt free or earning 7 figures. So yeah, you don't need to like be making like millions of dollars a year to be financially free. Like for me, I've always been making about 120 starting off to 200K plus. A typical like white collar job. But honestly, like you could achieve financial freedom making an average salary of like, let's call it 80, 90, $100,000, even despite living in California. But you probably have to expand your time horizon to do that. Like for me, because I'm making more, I can invest, save, save more money, invest more money. Whereas if I made less money, I couldn't save as much and I can't invest as much. So my time horizon has to be longer. So it's still doable. You just have to extend your time horizon or move to a cheaper cost of living area. So that's probably what I would have done if I was making less money. I would probably live in a cheaper area. Like in the Bay Area, you can like move to Sacramento, which is cheaper. In SoCal, you can move towards like Riverside area, kind of more east. Housing is more affordable. It's cheaper cost of living. So, or you can just move to like Vegas or Arizona, and there you can arbitrage the fact that like $80,000, if you make it there, goes a lot further compared to like $80,000 living in like downtown LA, where that might be a little bit more rough. So yeah, you don't need to earn that much money, but obviously, I would say my income is pretty realistic for most white collar workers. Like I would say about 150K is probably realistic for a lot of people, and that's probably taking home like maybe 6 7 thousand bucks a month. And if you're able to save half that money, or at least like 40 50%, I mean, you can really achieve financial freedom. And obviously it's easier when you're younger, and if you're able to live at home for free, like which I did starting off, and what a lot of Asian Americans do, that's a great way to build a financial foundation. Like not having to pay rent was huge for me. Like not having to pay 2,000 bucks a month allowed me to save $2,000 per month in order to pay off my student debt, in order to save for a down payment. So like, you don't have to do it, but you have to make sacrifices, right? Like, obviously, if I'm making seven figures, I can live in a nice mansion and still save like a lot of money. Like if I'm taking home like 30, 40,000 bucks a month, obviously I can put $20,000 to live my life and have $20,000 I can that save. But just know that most seven figure owners, unless you're like a high level CEO, you own a business, and business income is very, very, very volatile, right? Like you could be making like millions drop shipping e-commerce, and then all of a sudden 3 years later you're out of business. So it's actually better to be that person who makes consistently 150K, and you just gradually increase your income over time by job hopping, by moving up, or by changing companies and negotiation. So yeah, you don't need to be like making $1 million a year. I never did, and I was able to build a 7 million plus net worth, just working let's just call it 180K average job for the past 12 years. And I started off 250K student debt, right? And so, I started off in the hole. And in terms of being debt free, I think being debt free, so like clearly during your wealth building journey, you can't have credit card debt. That's number one for sure. You cannot have credit card debt. If you do, focus on paying that off first. For me, I never had credit card debt. I never had a car loan because I always had used cars, and used cars are so much more cost effective versus having a car payment. Also helps you save money. So like if it was me starting over today, I'd probably just get like a used like Toyota or something. Like they're super cheap, super reliable. You could buy something that's like 5, 6 years old, and they're very low maintenance and decent gas mileage, especially the cars nowadays. So, just get a used car, drive it as long as like for at least 10 years, I would say, and don't lifestyle inflate. And, don't have credit card debt, don't have car loans. And if you can like reduce your living expense to nothing by living at home, or like just like renting a room, that's a great way to like really save money. So, for me, I think so. That's kind of the basics in the beginning when you're building wealth. But to actually achieve financial freedom, like for me to achieve financial freedom, a big play in that is selling one of my single family homes to pay off my primary residence, to alleviate me of my mortgage of $5,500 a month. So I'm only paying $2,000 a month for property tax, insurance, HOA, and upkeep. So that's a huge part of financial freedom for me. And then another piece is selling my second single family home that I bought and paying off maybe one or both of my apartment complexes to really juice up that cash flow. At that point, I'd be having no mortgage to pay and about 14,000 a month in positive cash flow, of which maybe I can live off 10,000 bucks a month, which is 120K a year. So for me, I think taking some debt off the table and having some paid off properties, if you're doing the real estate route, is really huge in terms of achieving financial freedom. So that's what I mean by debt free. To kind of summarize, debt free is like no credit card debt for sure, no car loan for sure. Hopefully your student debt's wiped off. Like for me, I just took care of it. I get people can work in the public sector for 10 years and make those payments. If you're in that sector, great. I wasn't. I just paid off in 4 years. But if you at least have a plan, then great. You can have that taken care of in 10 years. But it's just so freeing not having any student debt, if I'm being honest. And wiping off your debt of your primary residence is going to be the hardest one. And then, obviously having some paid off rentals helps as well, because like you said, if you have no debt, then you have no mortgage, your cash flow increases. So not only you pay off your primary, your expenses decrease, and then your income increases. So I view wealth as a equation. It's income over expenses. So you can lower your expenses as low as possible. And in order to do that, you have to have no mortgage and then increase your income as high as possible. So by wiping off debt, it increases my income because it increases my cash flow. So that's what I would do. What I consider to be debt free. So not really debt free, but like more like taking some risk at the table when you're ready to achieve financial freedom. So I answered two of these questions in this video, and I'm going to do a part two of this video. But hopefully you found some value. Let me know if any questions. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want one-on-one coaching and mentorship and you want to buy multifamily real estate, your first deal, click on my link tree down below. From there, you can see links to my course, my coaching. And from there, you can send me an email if you have any questions or you want a discount code. And I also have a free newsletter that you can subscribe to. And otherwise, hope to see you next one. And thank you so much.